What comes to mind when you hear the numbers 9/11? Well, according to U.S. history, events such as Pearl Harbor, World War II, the Challenger exploding, people can remember exactly where they were that day. Well, to me, before that dreadful Tuesday morning occurred, I would look at a clock or see a sports score that showed 9/11 and not think anything about it. But that all changed after September 11th, 2001. Now, I have three main points why I chose this to be my personal experience. You see, I was stationed at the Pentagon and was in the building the morning of 9/11. We didn't know what had happened until almost 15 minutes after the plane had hit the building. We were down in a basement in a skiff. We couldn't hear anything. The only reason we found out is because one of my coworkers got a phone call from her husband asking me if she was okay. She replied, "Yeah, I'm fine." He said, "Well, why are you still in the building?" And she said, a plane hit the World Trade Center. What does that got to do with us?" And that's when he replied, "A plane just hit the Pentagon." And at that point, we decided it was time to evacuate. Well, the Pentagon made history that day because the Pentagon had never had to be fully evacuated until that day. I mean, after all, where do you put over 12,000 DoD employees? So we moved out to North Parking to our evacuation. I was parked in South Parking. Couldn't get back to my vehicle. So after we got to our rendezvous point, they did our roll call. And the biggest reason that I needed to get a hold of my wife is because her due date, she was pregnant with our first child. And our due date was 9/10. So I knew I had to get a hold of her. She knew I worked in the building. She didn't know where. She knew I roamed around the building a lot. I tried to call her, just like everybody else, got a busy signal. After about, I talked to her about 40 minutes before the Pentagon attack, asking her if she was watching the news about the World Trade Center. And I tried to get in contact with her afterwards and couldn't get in touch with her. So one of my coworkers drove me home. What after seemed like an eternity, it was only about 11:30. So it was only about an hour and a half, 2 hours before actually getting back home. Well, they say there's a silver lining in every cloud, and I know this to be true because my first daughter was born on September 18th, almost exactly a week after that dreadful day. So I have a new reason to remember that tragic time. So after this day, I can clearly say that I have witnessed firsthand what a war zone truly looks like. And after being there and seeing it for myself, I truly cherish every day as if it was my last. And out of every event comes good, and I know this to be true because I have a lovely daughter that was born just a week after this day. So now when I look at a clock or I see a sports score that shows 9/11, I just pause, sit, and have a moment of silence.